And this class is inheriting from class 1. That's all. Why you're telling left hand side is child, right hand side is parent? This is class. That's all. This is your class. Okay, now? And this class is inheriting from class 1. Simple. Now tomorrow, if class 3 is inheriting from class 2, guys, listen, if class 3 is inheriting from class 2, by default, class 3 has 4 methods in it, right? Yeah, by default, class 3 has 4 methods in it now. Automatically, class 3 has 4 methods because once we say colon class 2, automatically 4 methods are defined for you under class 3. I hope you understand. Inheritance is a very, very simple process. Yeah. Inheritance is a very, very simple process. You define a class and you say colon, parent class name, that's all. Once you say parent class name, automatically the members of the parent class will become the members of the child class. And child class can start consuming the parent class members directly. Okay, fine. Now, answer me a question. Even though I did not define, do I have a constructor in class 2? Do I have a constructor in class 2? Same way. Do I have a constructor in class 1? Yeah. Implicit constructor. Both the two classes have an implicit constructor because every class will have implicit non-static constructor. So compulsory, there's a constructor here. Compulsory, there's a constructor. Can I define a constructor on my own now? Means I want to make an explicit constructor. So before defining the explicit constructor, watch, I'm running class 2. Before defining a constructor in class 1, I'm running class 2 and all the 4 methods got executed. Okay, now I'm going to class 1 and I'm going to define an explicit constructor. What? Console.writeLine. Class 1 constructor is called. Are you guys clear? Now, okay. So class 1, I defined a constructor. I'll stop, otherwise you both of you teach here. Rajat and Subdesh. Both of you teach the class. Wait, yaar, I'll talk everything. Wait. Did I complete the concept? When I complete the concept, you talk. Let me tell you one by one point. Why you're worried? Okay. So I defined a constructor in class 1. In class 1, I just defined a constructor here. Okay. Now, in this particular context, you just understand. After defining this constructor, I am again executing class 2. Class 2 again I am executing. See guys, when I define the constructor in class 1 and executing class 2, I'm getting an error. Did you guys understand me? When I define a constructor in class 1 and executing class 2, I'm getting error. But see guys, when I did not define this constructor, let me remove the constructor and I'm just going to execute class 2, everything is fine. But when I define this constructor, then I'm getting error. Array, why am I getting this error? Earlier also we got a constructor now. Earlier also we got a constructor, implicit constructor. But now when I define a constructor explicitly, error is coming. It's confusing now. When the constructor is implicit, everything is got executed. When the constructor is defined explicitly, we are getting an error. Did you understand me? What could be the reason? Any guess? What could be the reason why I'm getting this error? When I define a constructor explicitly, why I'm getting error? But the code is executing when I have an implicit constructor. Instance is not created. Instance created, no, see, instance created. Object of class 1. Did I say that here? Did I say that? Guys, tell me this one. Did I say if constructor is implicit, you don't require to create an instance? If a constructor is explicit, you should create an instance. Did I say that? Then why you want instance to be created? Someone is telling private. What is private? So constructor is private, right? So, so what is your problem if this is private? What is your problem if this is private? What is your problem if the constructor is private? Private members of the parent class cannot be accessed by the child class. Perfect. But where did I call? Where did I access? Did I call the parent class constructor anywhere? Did I call the parent class constructor anywhere? What you are telling is right, guys. Private constructors of the private members of the parent class are not accessible to child class. I did not call it. If I call it, what you said is right. But did I call? Then what is your problem if it is public or private? If I call, then you can say, sir, it is private now. But I did not call it anywhere. Okay, let me explain you. Let me explain you why you're getting error. The reason why you're getting an error is because it is private only, guys. The reason why you're really getting is it is private only. But if it is a private, what is the problem when the child class is not calling it? If it is private, what is the problem when the child class is not calling it? That will be a big doubt here. Is it private? What is the problem when the child class is not calling it? If the child class is calling it, then it is public or private. A question comes now. But child class is not calling now. Okay, let me answer you this question. See, guys, whenever you create the instance of a class, do you remember? Whenever you create the instance of a class, 3 actions are performed. What are the 3 actions? The 3 actions that are performed is reads the classes to identify their members. Reads the classes to identify their members. Invokes the constructors of all those classes. Allocate the memory that is required for execution. Do you remember this, guys? We already learned it. We already talked about this. But here, I have a small doubt. What is the doubt? What is the question? When we create the instance of any class, what happens internally when we create the instance of a class? What happens internally when we create the instance of a class? Are you clear? What happens internally when we create the instance of a class? So this is the question. What is going to happen when we create the instance of a class? I'll answer you. I'll answer you this particular question. What is happening when the instance of a class is created? But just tell me here. The question is when the instance of a class is created, right? It is talking about creating the instance of a class. Singular or plural? Singular. Yeah, it is singular. What happens? It is just going to be singular. Okay. So the question here, if you understand, that is going to be singular. Okay, fine. And now, what is the answer telling? Reads the classes. Watch, guys. It is talking about reads the classes. Are you clear? So what is it telling you? Reads the classes. And now the doubt arises here. What is the question? What is the doubt that arises here is the answer is telling reads the classes. Why classes came there? Did you guys understand that? When the question is about what happens when you create the instance of a class, why it is telling reads the classes? Why classes came? Yeah. The point is when you create the instance of a class, it will not only read itself, guys. It will not only read itself, but it is going to read. It is not going to read itself, guys. It is also going to read its parent classes also. It's not only going to read itself, it is going to read its parent classes also. Why it will read the parent classes? Do you want to consume the members of a parent class? Do you want to consume the members of the parent class? If you want to consume the members of the parent class, then you're required to clearly know what are the members in the parent. If you want to consume the members of a parent class, then you should clearly know what are the members of the parent. Yes or not? Okay, so that's the important point. If you want to consume the members of the parent, you require to first know the contents of the parent class members. You require to know the contents of the parent class members. So that's way, whenever you just try to create the instance of a class, whenever you try to create the instance of a class, it not only reads itself, it is going to read the parent also. Parent. See, right, guys, not only your parents here, your grandparents' property also belongs to you. Not only your parents, your grandparents' property also belongs to you. So basically, you should know what is the property of your parents, what is the property of your grandparents. Everything you just require to know here. Okay, so that's way what it is going to do. It is going to read not only itself. It is going to read not only itself. It will read its parent classes also in this process. That's way reads the classes to identify the members. What is the second thing? Invokes the constructors of all those classes. Hey guys, this is the most important thing. Invokes the constructors of all those classes. How many classes it has read? How many classes it has read? It is going to invoke the constructors of all those classes. Are you clear, guys? How many classes it has read? It is going to invoke the constructors of all those classes. Suppose it has read you 10 classes. It will read you the constructors of all the 10 classes now. Sorry, it will invoke the constructors of all the 10 classes now. So if it reads 10 classes, it is going to invoke the constructors of all the appropriate 10 classes now. Okay, so that's why here, what is the problem that happened here? You know, when you defined a constructor on your own, what problem happened now? What problem happened is, see, which class instance is created? Child class instance, right? Which class instance is created? Child class. When the child class, class 2, when the class 2 child class instance is created, the control first jumps to the class 2's constructor. The control first jumps to class 2's constructor. Okay? Class 2 constructor is not there now. Why you don't have? We have implicit constructor. And class 2 constructor will internally call the parent class constructor. Which constructor? Class 1. Did you catch my point, guys? When you create the instance of the class 2 constructor is going and calling the when you're creating the instance of the class 2, the instance will first call class 2's constructor, and class 2 constructor will now go and call the class 1 constructor. So I'm not calling here, I am not calling. Who is calling? Why compiler? Yeah, clearly I said you, and again you're telling compiler. Compiler, when did I say compiler? Class 2 constructor is going and calling. When I create the instance of the class 2, the control first jumps to class 2 constructor, and class 2 constructor is going and calling the class 1 constructor. So who calls? Child class. Suppose tomorrow you have 10 classes in the hierarchy. 10 classes in the hierarchy. Class 1, under that class 2, under that class 3, under that class 4. Like this you have 10 classes. Now you created the instance of the 10th class. See the process. 10th class constructor will go and call the 9th class constructor. 9 will go and call 8. 8 will go and call 7. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now the execution starts from that constructor. First, class 1 constructor executes, class 2 constructor executes, class 3 constructor executes, 4, 5, 6, like this, all the 10 class constructors will execute. Are you guys clear? Are you guys alive? Well, are you so busy responding? Only 2 people, 3 people are responding. What about the rest of the people? Are you such busy? Okay, so that's going to be the process here. So right now, what is the problem? The problem is class 2 constructor was not able to call the class 1 constructor because class 1 constructor is private. Class 2 constructor was not able to call the class 1 constructor because class 1 constructor is private. So if I make it public, will it execute? Yeah, watch it, guys. Watch. No errors executed. Okay, fine. But when the constructor is implicit, it is executing, sir. When the constructor is implicit, it is executing. Yeah, it executes. Why? This is the reason. Guys, read that. When the constructor is implicit, it will execute. Why? Implicit constructors are public. Because implicit constructors are public, when the constructor is going to be implicit, the logic executes without any problem. I hope you guys are clear. Okay, now you see, we will understand this much better. Watch. I'm going to define a constructor in class 2 also. Guys, watch it. In class 2 also, I'm defining a constructor. Now, both classes are having an explicit constructor, right? Both classes are having an explicit constructor. Run the code and watch. What is called first? Class 1. Next, class 2. Now, to understand this process, put a breakpoint here. Put a breakpoint here. How to place a breakpoint, guys? How to place a breakpoint? F9. Right, F9. Now, start the execution. F5. See now. Guys, come on, respond. What is happening now? What is happening on this line? Creating the instance of class 2, not class 2 constructor is called. Creating the instance of class 2. What is happening? Creating the instance of class 2. Class 2 instance is getting created. Good. Okay, fine. Guys, now you watch all of you. When you create the instance, where is the control jumping first? See, where is the control jumping? Watch. Control jumped to its own constructor. Okay, control jumped. But guys, watch it. That code won't execute. It won't execute the code. From here, control is. Sorry, guys. Just a minute. Watch. It won't execute the constructor. Without executing from here, control jump to class 1 constructor. Watch. Now class 1 constructor is executing. And from where you came to class 1 constructor? From where you came to class 1 constructor? From class 2 constructor. Control is back to class 2 constructor. Control is back to class 2 constructor. From where you came to class 2 constructor? From where you came to class 2 constructor. Yeah, instance creation, main method. Array, by class 1 here, you will be roaming between class 1, class 2, class 1, class 2. From main method. Yeah, from main method. Back to main method. Okay, understand how it went. First, main method of class 2 started from here. From here it went to class 2 constructor. From here it went to class 1 constructor. Back to class 2 constructor. Back to class 2 main method. You understand? Started at class 2 main. Went to where? Class 2 constructor. Went to where? Class 1 constructor. Back to class 2 constructor. Back to class 2 main. Are you clear, guys? Okay. So, whenever you're trying to learn about inheritance, guys, whenever you try to learn about inheritance, there are 6 important rules what we require to understand. Whenever we try to learn about inheritance, there are 6 important rules what we require to understand. What are the 6 rules? Rule number 1. Rule number 1. The parent class constructor should always be accessible to the child class. The parent class constructor should always be accessible to the child class. If not accessible, inheritance is not possible. Guys, did you understand my point? What is that? Parent class constructor should always be accessible to the child class. Parent class constructor should always be accessible to the child class. If not accessible, inheritance is not possible. Did you understand me? Why the parent class constructor should be accessible to the child class? Why the parent class constructor should be accessible to the child class? Parent class constructor should be accessible to the child class because child class constructor implicitly calls the parent class constructor. Child class constructor implicitly calls the parent class constructor for execution. Now, the big doubt that arises in the mind is, why is the child class constructor calling the parent class constructor? Why is the child class constructor going and calling the parent class constructor? What is the reason for calling? What is the reason for calling the parent class constructor from the child class? This will be a big confusion for us now. Okay, so let me clarify. Let me clarify this, guys. Why all these things are necessary and why are they required? Say, what child class wants to do? Consume the members of the parent class. Am I right? What child class wants to do? Consume the members of the parent class. Child class wants to consume the members of the parent class. If the child class wants to consume the members of the parent class, guys, listen. If the child class wants to consume the members of the parent class members must be initialized first. Na? If the child class wants to consume the members of the parent class members must be initialized first or not? See, you and your brother, you have a brother or a sister, and for both of you, your father has given you a land. A father has given you a land. And both of you are planning to build a house. The land is only 200 square yards here, 200 yards. So if you divide them half up, you cannot build a house beautifully. You cannot build a beautiful house there. So because you cannot build a beautiful house there, what you people planned is, you people planned it like this. What is that? Both of you are you planned like, you build one floor, I will build one floor, so that you will be getting a big house. Did you understand me? 2 floors. You build one floor, I'll build one floor, so we will get a big house. Okay? Now, suppose you are the younger. If you are going to be the younger, then you're required to go to first floor. Because when you construct a house, we see a lot of other things like vastu and everything. So if you are the younger, you're required to go to the first floor.
Elder one should always be in the ground floor and younger one should be in the first floor. That is the rule. Okay. Now tell me this one. What is that? Um, ah, forget. Now tell me this one. What is that? Can you build your house first? Can you build your house first without the ground floor built? You cannot build now. Why? Because the basement should come from the ground floor. Then only you can build. Yours is first floor, and you cannot build your first floor because without the basement is built now. Basement required. So first ground floor, afterwards. Exactly. Child class wants to consume the members of the parent class. Am I right? Child class wants to consume the members of the parent class. Am I right? If child class wants to consume the members of the parent class, first the parent class members must be initialized, guys. First, the parent class members must be initialized. Are you guys clear or not? So without initializing, you cannot consume. Who can initialize the members of a class? Who can initialize the members of a class? Who can initialize the members of a class? The members of a class can be initialized by the constructor of that class. Okay. So, and this is the reason why. This is the reason why it is going to call the constructor. Are you clear? This is the reason why it is going to call the constructor. When the constructor is called, then only, when the constructor is called, then only the members are going to be initialized and then only they can be consumed. Okay. So that is why the child class constructor is going to go and call the parent class constructor for execution. That is the reason why all this story has to be said to you. Because to understand that one, yeah, why it is calling, but you let it down. Why is it calling? If you don't call, how can you consume? You cannot consume. Read it, guys. Read rule number 1. Read from there to there. Are you done? Did you understand? And the note is very, very important there. The note is very, very important there. What is it? Constructors of a class are never inherited. Constructors of a class are never inherited. Private members of a class, constructors of a class are like job of the parent. Private members of a class, constructors of a class are like job of the parent. They are never inherited. Did you get me? Okay, na? Fine. So that's what. Now, now, whenever you create the instance of a class, listen guys, whenever you create the instance of a class, it will first read all its parent classes to gather the information of the member that are present under those classes. I said you know, I already said you, whenever you create the instance of the classes, it will be reading the parent class members first. It will be reading the parent class members. So all the classes, if you have 10 classes, guys, listen, if you have 10 classes, and if you create the instance of the 10th class, it will start reading from class 1 to class 10. Did you get me? If you have 10 classes and if you create the instance of the 10th class, it will start reading from class 1 to class 10. Understood all of you? Class 1 to class 10, it is going to read all the members. Class 1 to class 10, it is going to read all the members. See, read this paragraph and watch the picture. Read this last paragraph and watch the picture. Okay? Fine. So this is the first important rule, rule number 1. Now, rule number 2. What is rule number 2? Rule number 2 is, in inheritance, guys, in inheritance, child classes can consume the members of the parent class, but a parent class can never consume the members of the child class. In inheritance, child classes can consume the members of the parent class, but a parent class can never consume the members of the child class. Not possible? No, not possible. Okay? Child can consume the parent members, but a parent can never consume the child class members. Child class members are never accessible to the parent. See, as per the law, all the property of the parents belongs to the children. As per the law, all the property of the parents belongs to the children. It's law. But remember this, guys, what you know? Children property doesn't belongs to parent. children property doesn't belong to parent. Parent property belongs to children, but children property never belongs to the parent. It is the responsibility of the children to take care of the parents, but legally, it is the responsibility of the children to take care of their parents. But legally, parents doesn't have any right on the children's property. I hope you're clear. Okay, so here also the same rule applies now. What rule? Watch. Here, I'm creating the instance of the class 1. Class 1 obj or class 1 p is equals to new class 1, creating an instance. Now p dot test 1 and p dot test 2. But guys, you cannot call test 3 and you cannot call test 4. Sorry, test 4. This is valid, accessible, so valid. This is inaccessible, so invalid. It's inaccessible, guys. If you try to do, you get error. Can you see that? Error. Are you guys clear? Both, huh? You want to do both at a time, huh? No, you cannot do. You cannot do. Come on, guys, read the second rule. Read the second rule, guys. Are you guys clear? And understand here I used a word purely defined under the child classes. Did you understand that word? Did you understand that particular word? They're purely defined in the child class. I hope you are clear. Okay, what is it? Purely defined in the child class. If anything is purely defined in the child class, that's not accessible. What is it? Purely defined? Yes, guys, if you follow that carefully, if you follow that particular thing carefully, you will clearly understand. Purely defined in the sense. Okay, fine. Next, rule number 3. Rule number 3. What is rule number 3? What rule number 3 is? Look at this, guys. Huh? What is rule number 3? Rule number 3 is class 2C is equals to new class 2. Class 1P. Tell me what is C? Come on, guys. What is C? Instance of the child class. Instance of the child class, right? What is P? What is P? Variable of the parent class, right? Variable of the parent class. It is going to be variable of the parent class. Clear now? Now, I can initialize a parent class's variable. I can initialize a parent class's variable by using a child class instance like this. Guys, follow me carefully. I can initialize a parent class's variable by using a child class instance like this. You can initialize? Yes, you can initialize. Now, what is P? What is P? Are you clear? Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear? So earlier we learned a variable of the same class can be initialized by instance of the same class. Earlier what we learned is variable of the class can be initialized by instance of the same class, right? Variable of a class can be initialized by instance of the same class. Now what are we learning? Now what are we learning is a parent class variable can be initialized by using a child class instance. I repeat, a parent class variable can be initialized by using a child class instance. That is what we are learning right now. I hope you guys are clear. Okay, everyone? So see, initially, guys watch, initially P is a variable. Because P is a variable, P dot test1, P dot test2 will give error. Error, see, you're getting error. Why error? Because the variable, using variable, we cannot call members. Now see, P is a reference. Can I call? Yes, I can. Initialized. I can call the members. Okay, now? Now, what is P? P is a parent class reference. So all of you read this and watch the picture. All of you read that and watch the picture. Is that clear, everyone? Now P is also, see, P is consuming the memory of C. Now P is consuming the memory of C, right? Okay. Then who is the owner of the memory? Who is the owner of this memory? C. Child class instance is the owner of the memory. Who is the owner of the memory? C. Nothing but child class instance. Child class instance is the owner of the memory, right? Yes or not? Okay. Now P is consuming. Now tell me, using P, can I call class to members now? Using P, can I call class to members? Using P, can I call class to members now or not? Let us see. Array, I'm getting error here. I'm getting error with 3 and 4. Why am I getting error? Because you already forgot. What you forgot? Read it. You already forgot what I said. Read it again now. Continue reading.